Well, welcome back to the channel. It's another day. I guess, what's today? Thursday. Been a long week. A lot of hours at work already. But the one good thing I did last night is I stopped by, ran over to Oliver Phil's and picked up a bunch of hydraulic hoses. So I can really start going to town, putting this thing back together. I've kind of got them in the piles, what they go with. And then I have a whole box of old hoses in case I need to compare. A lot of those broke. I did this week, did a little bit of work on that plate. I welded those washers kind of help hold the remote couplers on, and I got those off and got things kind of where they need to be. And then when I got home from Oliver Phil's last night, I had a little bit of time, and so I just tried one hose. So I took the hose from the pump to the metal line back there, which is a main supply line, and got that put on, and it fits nice and it looks nice. And so yeah, we're making progress, and now I can really tonight, my plan is to start going to town a little bit. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. It's a lot of money laying there on the floor, I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of money, but it's gonna make this thing so nice. And I appreciate everybody's making comments and stuff on the videos about how nice this it's gonna be when it gets done, and I'm gonna agree. It's gonna be I'm excited, I'm getting more excited. I'm really hoping I get a call from the radiator shop tomorrow to pick up the radiator, because if I have the radiator and the oil cooler back this weekend, I can get a whole lot done to get this thing closer to being back up and operational. Other than we still need to do some work on the seals and the pump, and on the and we need to get the alternator done, a couple, and battery cables, but small things. Be great if I got everything done, and then we put everything back together. And here in a few weeks, we're out test driving this thing and running it around and testing the lights out. Yeah, I'm getting excited. So I'm gonna get to work tonight and see how many of these hoses I can get put back on. Well, a little bit of time later here, I was able to get my new couplers on, and I got the hoses run. They're loose right now because I want to check my routing before I tighten things down. I probably could have made a couple of these, all of them, a little bit shorter. I will definitely watch that on the next one to see how they're routed and see if I can take some length out. All right, dang battery died again last night, so it's the next Friday night now, but you can see I got the hoses in. I still got to route them. There's a keeper there that holds it up against the side, so I'll work on that tonight, and then I'm gonna work on getting a bunch more of these lines in. So there you can kind of see I got to route those a little bit better, but I looked at some pictures on how they came out, and that's the way they went. Like I said, I could probably made some of these a little bit shorter. Note to self for the next tractor. So quick story before I get started on this. Mrs. Ohio MM was out walking around the yard tonight with the dog, found a piece of paper laying there, and it was a letter dated 1976 from the 4-H extension agent to a 4-H person that had sold their animal at the fair, asking them to write a thank you letter to whoever bought their or reminding them to write a thank you letter to whoever bought their animal. So dated 1976, and the county that it was sent out by was Logan County. So I talked about it in my last video. We had severe weather here a week or so ago. We had a bunch of tornadoes roll through. Well, Logan County is over around Indian Lake, where it got slammed by tornadoes. It's over in that area, and it's about, I'd say, 40 to 50 air miles due west of us. So if I had to guess, that piece of paper flew all the way over here from there, which seems kind of crazy, but wind is a powerful thing. I remember being a kid and going to I was at my grandparents' farm, and with my grandpa and my uncle at a fence row at the very back of the farm. There's nothing around for a long way. There was a piece of a metal siding laying there against the fence, and I said, how would that get back here? back in the 70s, we had a big tornado here in Ohio that hit a town called Xenia. And it was a really bad tornado, killed a lot of people. But anyway, they said that was there from the Xenia tornado, and that after that tornado, they had found quite a bit of debris around the farm. And that Xenia to the home farm up there was, I don't know, 60, 70 miles. So kind of crazy. Again, we're lucky that storm turned just south of us. I did go to Napa today. I got my big belt. You can tell this is the big belt that goes on from the crank to the power steering unit. There's the number on it. So I'm gonna work on getting that on also, and kind of keep picking away at the lines on this, see how much I can get done. Because tomorrow I can't get a full day working in, and then Sunday we have Nick, Ohio MM's oldest brother, is getting confirmed, and another nephew, great nephew. So we're going to go over to that. So I'll get to see Nick, Ohio MM, and Sam, and the whole family over there. But anyway, I'm going to quit talking and start working. All right, so after I got all of the remote lines tightened up, I needed to get this line in that goes to the metal line that goes back to the remote cylinders. So I had to take out that rubber hose that goes around the hose to keep it from chafing. And this is just hanging because all of our fills got the cylinders rebuilding them. Then I was able to get that piece back on. So I've got that in place, but I don't have it tightened down because I want to make sure this end has an angle on it, and that's got to get clocked right when the cylinder comes back, and I'm not exactly sure how that's going to go, so I'm leaving that loose. So then I went to, and I've been huffing and puffing and sweating and trying to get these two lines in. So the line that goes back here that supply your remotes, top line, bottom line down here, and those route through. And if you remember, the top line before had a big bend in it because it had too much, so I had Phil shorten that one up. They go through this cradle here in the middle, and so when I reroute those, I try to get them underneath everything so they don't crimp everything. And then I still need to get those shoved in a little bit further, but I want to tighten things up before I start pushing things around because it shouldn't have this much out here. Then I'm going to take you around the other side and show you what I had to deal with over there. Yes, I had to stop it because I got to walk all the way around and I got a lot of stuff in the way. But then I had to get these in, and I first had one of the hoses routed and I couldn't get this clocked right to get screwed in, and there might have been some 4-letter words exchange getting these on because these 3/4 inch hoses are 4350 psi. They're pretty stiff. So I got those both started, had to pull the lines over here and kind of have them hanging. Got those started, and then I routed my lines through after I did that, and then they come in and go down there. There you can maybe have a better view of top line goes in, bottom line goes underneath. So I got to tighten all those up, and then there are keepers that, one keeper goes here, but that also holds a couple of the cables, and the cables that I think it holds are the ones that I have off right now because it's frozen. And then on the other side I have the same thing, so I'll put those back in after I get everything all fixed up. So at least I got that much done. So I'm up to, once I tighten these down, I've got all the hydraulic hoses on that I can put on right now up to the cab, and then I'll start working in the cab. All right, so moving into the cab, I just installed, sorry if I'm banging you around there, I'm hopping up in here, the steering lines. So they go obviously down then to the wall there, I guess you'd call it the firewall. So this was not fun at all because you have to stand and bend at your waist and kind of get over the steering wheel and try to hold one and try to get it started here. But the one thing that I did that was smart is I started at the top one here, taking them off, took this one off, then the one behind it, then this one, and then the one under it. And I reinstalled them in the exact opposite order, or you never reach the one that's way down in there underneath. And the one that's way underneath goes to the bottom port there, and then they kind of go in reverse order. So got all those installed. So that's good that I got that much done tonight. Hopping back down. So what I'll do, and I think I'm about the time I'm gonna quit, but I need to install then the hydraulic lines coming out of there that go down to the steering cylinders, and then the supply lines that come out of there. And I'll probably work on get those done tomorrow. If I can get those done tomorrow, then we'll get the belt on and just keep picking away at this and getting it to where when I get the radiator back, I don't know if I mentioned, it sounds like not till next Friday I won't have the radiator back. So next weekend, definitely get that back on. And there was something else that I was waiting on. I guess that's it. I got to get Phil over here, but he's busy right now building a new bed for his service truck that he's probably filming on his channel. And then I also got to get him to do the alternator. But we're making progress. So I'm gonna end this for tonight, and we'll be back out here tomorrow and see how much more we can get done on this thing. Oh yeah, fuel tank. He's over where he's building the bed to his service truck is the guy that's doing the fuel tank, and he said that he's getting close to working on it. So one of the things I'm gonna have to do is over there behind the quad is the tray for that. I'm gonna need to clean that up, get that nice and smooth so that when I put it all back in here, I don't have issues with that. And then I also am waiting on a gasket for that box there, that hydraulic box there. Gasket goes around. When I get that, if it happens to come in the mail tomorrow, then maybe Sunday's going to be. But I got to take that plate off, replace those two seals that come out around those rods there, and then seal it all back up with that gasket. So progress. The pile over here is much smaller, and that's a good thing. Those lines are all the lines for the front of the cab. And this is an extra line here that he doubled up for the other tractor. And then I can't remember where those go, but I think those are the supply lines from the pump coming up to the firewall. But we'll work on this tomorrow. Well, it's Saturday, and I'd like to say it's morning, but it's early afternoon. I didn't get a great start on things today, but I did get the steering lines that go down to the wheel cylinders, 2 on each side. The supply line that goes up underneath and it goes up to the pump. And then this line is the suction line that goes back, comes out of there and goes back to the tank. So I got all those on. I got them tightened up. I didn't really tighten up the steering lines for the cylinders yet, because I don't have the cylinders back, and until I get the hose clocked the way I want it, I don't want to tighten those. These will have to be down, the difference in paint there, that's where the hood comes down, so they'll have to be in closer. Yeah, so I don't think those go on the inside of the clutch there. I'm pretty sure they go out here. But anyway, so I got those in. I rechecked the 4 lines inside the cab after I had these on, because my T's were wanting to spin on me yesterday. So the way these work, and so this goes to the, if I can remember, this goes to the back of this cylinder. That side goes to the front of the other cylinder, and vice versa. This goes to the front of this cylinder, and that goes to the back of the other. So when you're turning it, your flow goes, different ways to actuate the cylinders. So what I'm going to do here in a couple minutes, I'm going to work on getting this belt on, which I'm sure is going to be a royal pain. And yeah, I was just answering questions. I had a person message me on Facebook questions. She's redoing a Jetstar 3 that she tore down 10 years ago. She said now she's trying to get it back together, and she's having stupid GoPro batteries. I swear I need to switch cameras. GoPro sucks. Sorry, just a little rant that I'm in the middle of talking and it goes dead, and that battery was just charged and it's not old. Anyway, putting back get her Jetstar 3, it's a 69, and so she couldn't remember how the fenders mounted, how the battery tray where it bolted up to, and then how the brake lock worked with the spring. So I just took a video of some of that, took some pictures. She's getting it back together, so that's good. Another one getting back going again. So I'm gonna get back to work and see if I can get this belt on. I don't have a whole lot of time today, but I hopefully will get that on, get things buttoned up here as far as the belt goes, some more lines hooked up, and then I'll be ready when my radiator comes back. And I'll probably pull the alternator off today too. I got to get that over to Oliver Phil, and I got to get a top radiator hose, and Oliver Phil has a source for those because Welter's does not have those. So I'm going to pick away at getting this belt on. I keep saying pick away. I need to quit saying that. All right, I got the belt on. It's kind of a pain. I actually had to use the gantry, get a strap around the pump around the back, and then use the gantry from above to come over and pull the pump up. And then I still had to spin the crank in order to get it on. But now the problem is, in order to get it off and all, there's a bolt that goes through that side as the pivot point, and then you've got your set bolt there, and I've got this bolt out, and it's nowhere close to where it needs to be. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm going to get this side of the pump up, or the plate up, in order to get that bolt back through. And I'm sure it's gonna fight me the whole way, but at least I made some progress and I got the belt on, and if I can get this all put back together, I'd be happy with that progress for today. All right, I got it all back together. So you can see there goes my light. I was trying to be nice and light everything up, and my bolt over here is where it pivots. I put floor jack with a long 4x4 up against this side of the plate, pushed up. That got my hole lined up, and then I didn't really have to tighten up my adjustment screw. The belt's really tight, so I just hammered down on the bolt there that sets the adjustment, and so I think I'm good. You see tension is pretty tight on that belt, so I think that's enough of what I need. So there's that new line coming down. I should probably crawl under there and hook that up to the pump, and yeah, then I'm going to be heading my high school basketball team, and I graduated a long time ago, has made it to the Final Four in the state, and they're playing over in Dayton today, and playing a powerhouse out of Cleveland. Chances of them winning are probably fairly small, but because it's a private school in Cleveland that has always been known to have good teams. But me and my best friend since first grade and his wife and Mrs. Ohio Mem are going to go over and watch the game, just because I've never seen a team from my high school ever get this far in the States, let alone a basketball team. And so I'm not getting a whole lot of work done out here today, but I think that's a good thing to go do with the afternoon. But we're going to crawl under there and put that hose on the pump before we do that. So we're down underneath here, and here's the back of my pump, and this line goes up right there. Probably not showing it real well because I'm doing things one-handed, but getting it started. So it's right underneath the oil pan. That yellow right there is the oil pan. Don't ask me. I'm gonna guess at some point they had a problem with this motor and they put a yellow oil pan on it as they fixed it, which I'm surprised at that point in time they didn't put an external fuel pump on it. So there's where I'm at. And my wrenches. And I should have brought another wrench to grab that line. I'll have to go back out and get another wrench. But I'll tighten that down, and then back along here, up there is a little, I gotta pull that bolt out of the pan there, and that secures this line, so it's kind of up and out of the way. So I'm gonna get that done, and then yeah, then I'm gonna have to go in and probably start getting ready. There's the big suction line that comes out that goes up to the front. That's return, I would guess. And then this would be pressure. Let me see, that one comes from the oil cooler down to this. So yeah, this is supply. This is oil cooler. So that would be return, because it goes from the oil cooler, I think, to the tank. And then this is pressure coming out, going back. All right, I wanted to show real quick. So I got it secured there, and then I realized I had the pressure line coming through here and going down. I realized that it would obscure the tin work, and then I remembered that it was kind of routed between those two metal lines when I took it off. So I took it off up there and rerouted it so that it will fit okay. Once I put the tin work back on. So just wanted to show that's the one thing about these lines. I'm not consulting my notes every step of the way, but as you're putting it together, it kind of starts making sense of why things are fitting a certain way. But I think all in all, for just a very short couple hours worth of work, I've got quite a bit done here, and we're getting her back together. So time for basketball, but tomorrow I'll get out here, hopefully after we get back from seeing Nick, Ohio MM, and his family, and can do a little bit more on this. Unfortunately, I'm traveling for work this week, so there's not going to be much that gets done on this tractor this week. Well, it's Sunday afternoon. We just got back from the family get together. Got to see Nick, Ohio MM, and hang out with him for a bit. And his older brother, Sam, who's a year older, pulled me aside and told me that he felt like he should be in some of these videos because it would help me get more subscribers, and that he was more than willing to help work on the A4T. So I appreciate Sam's offer there, but have to get him and Nick over here at some point. Anyway, I'm showing you this piece of paper because this is the piece of paper that Mrs. Ohio MM found out in the backyard. You can see there, 1976 Logan County Fair, and signed by Phil Romas. I can't pronounce that. But anyway, that's the piece of paper that flew from, I'm gonna guess, western Ohio, 50 or more miles west of here with the tornadoes over to our area. All right, so I did a little cleanup. Scraped off the bottom of the hydraulic tank over there in the frame that the radiator goes in. Next weekend it's supposed to be warmer, so I'll probably power wash that before I put everything back together. But then I went back to work on this cable. I had it in the vise over there, and I had an idea. So I put just a little bit of heat to this metal fitting here, right here, because I figure that's the only place it can really be stuck is in there, and it freed up. So I don't know that if I can show it. If I put my knee on the cable, but now I've got it freed up. I had to straighten out the cable just a little bit, but I've got that working, so that's a win. So I can right now put this cable back in, and then once the cable's back in, I can see. I'm trying to think now. I think these cables are what go in the brackets that hold down the hydraulic lines. These brackets. And then out here on the outside is where those cables go through. So once I get that cable back in, I can secure everything down there. And then the only thing I need to still run is I still need to run, I'm gonna run new fuel line and new return line, fuel return lines, because this is them, and they are, as you can see, not in the best shape. So I'm gonna work on right now getting that cable back in, and then hopefully I can be moving on to, unfortunately, taking the tray that holds the fuel tank in it. I need to take it outside and wire wheel it and get it cleaned up, and then I need to work on getting the plate off of that that unit there that was leaking, because this week I'm going to be gone all week, but I should get the gasket for that, and then when I get back next weekend I can get all that done. Yeah, we're making some progress. By the way, I mentioned we went to a basketball game last night, my old high school, and they were in the Final Four, and unfortunately they lost by 1 point in the last like 15 seconds. They couldn't pull it out, and they played a team from Cleveland that's a private school that recruit from all over Cleveland. So to lose by 1 point to a team like that, I think they should be pretty proud of themselves. All right, I'm gonna get this cable back in. All right, I got the cable back in, got everything plumbed. It was a lot more difficult than taking it out, just because adjustments and different things. So then I decided I was going to try to put this clamp back in, put my hoses. There's a bolt that goes through them, and then it goes up to, bolts into the back end to hold those hoses still, and there's one on the other side. I can get it to within 1/8 of an inch of where the threads will start biting on that bolt, and I can't push those hoses anymore by myself. I have tried and tried and tried. Put a call in. I'm going to need help, so I put a call to neighbor Carl, see if he's around. I haven't heard back from him yet, but yeah, and I had to undo this top hose in order to finagle these things around and kind of reroute things, but that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna have to probably pull off on working on this, because if he doesn't text me back, then I'm gonna have to wait till I do get help over here. So next best thing is, since it's chilly today and I got a lot of clothes on, and wire wheeling is better with a lot of clothes on, take this out and wire wheel the crap out of it to get as much as that scale off as I can, get it down. And the other side's all just grease or dirt that's been stuck. So I think I'm gonna drag this outside and work on that real quick. And since I'm already in my Sunday's best, my wife's always embarrassed of the way that I look in the barn, but I'm working. So, all right, time to go get more dirty. All right, quick work with the wire wheel. Got this cleaned down. I gotta spray it off, but definitely you can almost see the pattern of the carpet that was on there where it's rusted. So cleaned up both sides, and the stuff on the bottom made that mess on the front of the barn, which now I gotta wash off. And on me, yep, it's a good day to be completely covered up, so that yeah, some nasty stuff that just came off there. I'm gonna hose it down with water. There, we got some sunlight, so let it dry a little before I take it back in the barn, clean up the front of the barn. You know, work on tractors. It's a really fun project. It's clean, it's sexy, it's, oh yeah, it is fun, but it's not clean, and it's not as you can see, these Carhartts, I get every inch out of the Carhartts that I can. Yeah, wear them on even days it's probably too warm to wear them because it saves all my other clothes. But even on the ground, you can see how much dirt just came off that thing. So I'm gonna hose it off, and nothing back from neighbor Carl yet. He's probably getting his nails done or something. So I'll just have to see what else I can get done today. All right, so I got my control levers off of here. The one was just a cotter pin. The other was this whole apparatus here that had a bolt through the bottom which goes through the case. It had some bushings in it, and then it went through this pin, and then back here I had to undo it from where it goes to the 3-point so I could slide it back to get it out of the way, so that when I get the cover free, it's not obstructed by that. So we're gonna see how much fluid gets all over the floor. I got a pan down there, but definitely I moved these around a little after I did that, and they're wet. So I mean, there's those bushings were definitely leaking. Oh boy, and that one I can't get on with the oh, I just knocked you guys around. Can't get on that with, I'm gonna have to get a box end wrench, but might as well get the rest of these out real quick. Yep, here, once they get to a certain point, they get a lot easier. I'm hoping I can just get them loose enough and then get them with my fingers. And that seems to be working. So far, no fluid spilling out, but that one bolt down at the bottom is still tight, so I'm not surprised. Probably when I loosen that one is when it's going to get messy. All right, I'm going to pause this real quick while I go get a wrench, and then we'll get this cover off. And wisely, I didn't move the dually out of here today, so every time I gotta go get a tool, gotta walk around the dually. I gotta get my steps in this afternoon, I guess, because I got out here late. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna move the truck out. I can do it without moving the truck out, and I should have moved the truck out at this point because I've been making some headway. All right, got that one out. Give a couple. Nope, she's on there. I'm gonna go get a something to kind of drive down behind that to pry that off. I should have looked up. I had a screwdriver right here. There she goes, and there goes my fluid out the bottom. Oh, and here comes my mess. I try to make sure it's hitting. Oh no, it's going all over. Dang it. You gotta love it. All right, I'm gonna pause this and go grab another pan. All right, got multiple pans going. Got some rags down. I just had all this cleaned up, and I should have known. But get resituated around here. You guys set back up. So let's see if we can get this cover the rest of the way off. She's fighting me. Oh, there's pins at the top and the bottom. Now I remember. So I did look at the parts book at this. There's alignment pins at the top and the bottom of this. And I think it's hanging up on the one down in the middle on the bottom. There we go. That just released. The whole plate should come off. You know what? I gotta drive that roll pin out, or that seal's not gonna let that go. So, and I don't know. It's in there pretty good. I gotta get the right tools in order to do that, so that I don't mess up that roll pin. About dropped you guys. Okay, I'll be back. All right, it didn't take much, just a couple taps with the right punch to get that out. Now it's gone back on my top pin. I get that back off, and it's back on the bottom pin because the whole thing kind of went back on when I realized I had to do that. There we go. Should be free. For some reason she doesn't want to come free. Oh, there we go. Little encouragement. Let's give all right. And there we have the plate free. The gaskets there. The back side of where those seals are. I'll replace those. I'll clean up this gasket. I got the new one on the way from Welter's, and we'll get this thing sealed back up, so hopefully I'm not dripping fluid every place all the time from back here. All right, came over to the workbench and got the old seals out. Have the new seals here. I got both of them, so I will put those in. I don't know if it'll be today, but I'll get those in. Can't really do anything until I get the gasket from Welter's, so we'll just have to wait on that. I've got this all out here. It's pretty well dried after I didn't do the best clean job on it that I've ever done, but I just definitely degreased it. But I will, and I have it nice and smooth, so I can put a coat of paint on it or some kind of coating to keep it from rusting again. And before I get the tank back, at least that will be done. So, and we got a nice day going today. It's almost 7 o'clock. I love it. Staying light later, so that's perfect. So I think that's going to be about it. I need to go in the house. Yes, there's the truck in the way that I got to walk around all day. Go in the house and get some things done. Heading out to the West Coast this week for work. I'll be staying right downtown San Francisco, so I'm interested to see if it's as wonderful as everything that I've heard, with the crime and the homeless people, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I appreciate everybody watching. Next week, hopefully I got the radiator back. I get back Friday. The radiator's supposed to be done Friday, so I get the radiator back, the oil cooler, and hopefully next weekend we can really make some strides getting this thing back together. Hopefully I can get some help and we can get those hoses tied down, and slowly but surely we're getting this thing. I mean, I think it will run by the end of April. I'm hoping. As long as I get everything, I think what's going to be incumbent on is Oliver Phil's schedule, working on the injector to seal up, put the seal kit in, and the alternator and the fuel tank. I think that those are the things I can't control. Everything else I think I can get back on and get this thing closer. Then once I get it outside, I was thinking about it, once it's outside, I will work on getting the glass replaced in the cab, because then I think the glass company can come during the week when I'm at work and I don't have to be here, and we can get that done. We can get the back window on that, and this thing will be about ready for summer. So again, thanks for watching. Please make comments if you want to make comments. Like and subscribe. We're going to keep these things coming. When we get this done, obviously we've got a whole lot more projects to work on. So I will see you next video.